Hello and welcome back to Seconds Out. My name is Ayman Khan and I'm joined by world-renowned trainer Robert Garcia to talk boxing. Robert, sir, thank you for your time. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
A pleasure to have you, pleasure to speak to you, pleasure to get a bit of your knowledge. I want to talk, first of all, this weekend. We just witnessed Anthony Joshua go the distance in his comeback fight against Jermaine Franklin. Did you catch the fight, Robert?
You know what? I had fights same day in Mexico, so I wasn't able to catch the fight, but I was on social media following up, because I wanted to see how the fight went and how he went and all that. So I was following up on social media, but I did not get a chance to see the fight.
Did you catch any of the highlights? And I suppose, could you tell me, look, a lot of people came into the fight thinking Joshua had to get rid of Franklin within 6 rounds. It went the distance and maybe disappointed by the performance. Did you feel that same way that Joshua had to come in and beat Franklin resoundingly?
You know what? I think that's what the fans and the boxing world would have loved to see for them to maybe talk about a future fight against a Tyson Fury or a what's the name, the Bronze Bomber.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been nice for him to make a statement, but I think in boxing it's not just about knocking everybody out. I think also showing some skills, going the distance helps a lot. I think Anthony Joshua is a fighter that going the distance is going to help him because 12 full rounds to work with his new trainer, get used to each other. So they didn't go out there and blow somebody out in 1 or 2 rounds and don't get to know themselves better. I think going out 12 worked for both of them. I think it's going to benefit their relationship, working together a little bit more.
Did you see any of the social media highlights? Or if you did see any of the highlights, did you see any of the blueprint of Derrick James's game in Anthony Joshua's performance in any clips that you saw?
I did not get a chance to see that, and I haven't seen any clips. I haven't seen that. Only, like I said, only what I was reading. That he went the distance. Some people maybe it wasn't his best performance, but I also understand that he hasn't won a fight in a couple years. So this is a fight that he needed to get the win, and by knockout or not a knockout, it was still a win, and it just gives him one more time to go out there and work with his new trainer to improve things. Both of them, I'm pretty sure Derrick James was also very aware of everything that was going on and everything that's been said throughout social media, throughout the comments, throughout boxing people. But it should help them. It should help them just get better and better for their next fight.
Do you feel that those big fights are in his path? We've always talked about the John Terry Wilder fight. After the fight, Anthony just said, "Look, I want Tyson Fury. It would be an honor to fighting for the WBC heavyweight title." But do you feel those fights are in the offing in this portion of AJ's career?
I think the fights are available. All he needed was one win. He's a big name. He's a huge star in the UK. So it would be a huge fight between him and Tyson Fury. But I think me personally, like I told his management team and his team before I left last August that that he needed that I would prefer him to get 2 or 3 stay busy fights just to get back into the winning streak and getting a little more confidence because going the distance, was good for his career didn't have a win in a couple of years, but I think going the distance was really good for him, but wasn't very good for him if it comes to being ready for the big boys. If he would have went out there and knocked this guy out in 2 rounds, then bring him on. I'm ready. I already knocked this guy out in 2 rounds like I was supposed to, so I'm ready for this guys. But knowing that he didn't, that he went the distance and couldn't take him out, I think another one, at least one more, but I'd say 2 or 3 more fights uh, to prepare him to go against the Wilders or the Furies. That's my personal opinion. But this is also a business, and his management team, his promoter, they obviously if they get that opportunity to get that big fight against Tyson Fury, they're gonna take it, and I guarantee you they'll take it next if they have, because they don't know what's next, what's going to happen with Anthony Joshua next. He could go out there in his next fight and fail, and lose a fight that he's not supposed to lose, and then everything goes down the drain. So it's a business. I do believe that if the Tyson Fury fight is there next, I think his management team, and obviously promoter are going to jump on that and do it as soon as possible.
Do you think he can beat him?
You know what? I'd say, I think he needs at least 2 more fights, more confidence, needs 1 or 2 knockouts to get that extra confidence. I think with a new trainer, you can really make a big difference in one fight. There's sometimes, you could see a little bit of changes, but you don't see a complete change with only one fight. So I think even Derrick James himself would prefer a couple fights before any big fights.
Now, Robert, I've got to ask you, in the aftermath of this fight, people have levied the criticism at Anthony Joshua, saying, look, he might be gun shy. In the time that you had with Anthony, did you feel that in the gym? Did you feel that feeling that he was hesitant to really pull the trigger after this defeat to Andy Ruiz? Do you get that feeling from him?
You know what? There was some really good days. I have videos. I don't know if I don't think I don't think they have put them out there, but I got videos during sparring. He hurt sparring partners. He knocked out sparring partners during our training camp. So I can't say he's gun shy, but a lot of people question that due to his performances against Andy Ruiz, where it seemed like he kind of gave up on that fight, but then those performances against what's his name? God damn it. The guy he just lost to.
Usyk.
Man. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Usyk. No worries. So people might think, oh, he's gun shy. He does, but I'm telling you, I have videos. There's videos of him hurting sparring partners in our camp when we had our camp together. So he, the power is always there, and he knows he's got power. So he could really hurt fighters. He's got insane power. I think I never felt I've never felt Wilder's power, but I can guarantee you it can be much more than what Anthony Joshua has, because Anthony Joshua's powers is one of those that's hard to see somebody else hit that hard.
Let's take Anthony out of the equation. If a fighter is gun shy, how do you turn them around from being gun shy to then being able to pull the trigger? Like, can you as a trainer do that?
I think the easiest way to do it is what he already did: is get out of his comfort zone, come to the United States, train in a gym where there's great fighters to train with, maybe better fighters than you, so you can actually look up to them, so you cannot be the main guy, where Derrick James has, one of the Charlos, where he has, pound for pound, one of the best welterweights in the world, training in a gym where you're going in there, but there's Errol Spence, who is pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. It motivates you. It helps you. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you that you're not the main guy. Knowing that if I don't show up at my time, well, Derrick James is going to be busy with with Spence or Charlo, then I might not have the full time with my trainer. Then that pushes the fighter to do things at the time that he's supposed to train hard, because Charlo or Spence or Martin are going to be there, and they're going to be there to criticize me. So he wants to perform and he wants to do good. So I'm pretty sure that's the best thing that he did. Get out of his comfort zone and go to a gym where he's going to be pushed and he's going to be challenged to do much better.
Now, I want to ask you, in the lead up to the fight week, us at Seconds Out and other media outlets spoke to Anthony Joshua, and he kind of said that, look, after leaving yourself, he felt that maybe he said one or two things that he didn't quite like. He said in terms of his training that maybe he was hard to work with and he dictates his training. That Anthony dictates his training. Did you read those comments and did you see those? And what's your response to that?
I didn't see those comments. Honestly, I didn't see them. I'm not sure. Where they post them, because I didn't see anything.
Okay. Was there any element of Anthony Joshua dictating his training at all during his time with you? Was that a thing? Or
was that a what?
Was that a thing? Was Anthony Joshua dictating his training under his time with yourself?
You know what? That's why I'm telling you. Because when I went to him, and I think I'm not saying that was a big mistake, but I would have preferred, being at a gym where I have another schedule, I have more fighters. So being in camp with him, there was those days where instead of training at a certain time, noon or whatever, it would, he would take an extra hour, of rest, sleep another hour, stuff like that. It did happen, but it wasn't like he never showed up to train. Like, he still trained. So, I think like I'm telling you, I think it was more about just being too comfortable, knowing that we're there just for him. Where with Derrick James, he knows Derrick James is busy with other fighters, so he's got to respect his schedule and show up and know that if he doesn't, then Derrick James is going to move on to his champions, to his world champions, to his pound for pound fighter, one of the best pound for pound fighters, to his undisputed champion in Charlo. So he wasn't the main star, me being up there, I was just there for him. So if he wanted to take another hour, 2 hours, we were there. I would take that hour also. You know what I mean? So that was the difference. But like I told you, there was those sparring matches where he did really good, and there's videos of him hurting and knocking guys out. So he's got that power it's never gonna leave. He always has that one chance. He just has to have a little more confidence in himself when he throws those punches.
A final thing before I move on to Jesse Rodriguez. There seems to be a bit more of an edge now to Anthony in recent months. Look, the thing happened after the Usyk fight with the belts and taking the mic, but also after Franklin, he kind of got into a bit of a scuffle with Franklin, which led to a bit of a scuffle outside the ring. What do you make of that kind of edge to Anthony in his recent years, if you've seen that to him?
Didn't see that with his last fight with Franklin. I didn't even know about it. I don't know what the exchanges were, but from what I see in the scorecards, the fight was clearly a unanimous decision for Anthony Joshua. So I don't know if Franklin was arguing the decision or what Anthony was telling him, because there was no reason for an argument. There was no reason for a fight between them when Anthony clearly beat him. From what I read in the scorecards, the judges maybe gave the other guy 2 rounds, so that's a clearly win for Anthony Joshua. So I don't see why there would be a little bit of a fight after, because it was just clearly that Anthony won. So I really don't know what the words that they exchanged were, but it's just kind of weird.
Robert, let's move on to Jesse, down to flyweight challenge for the WBO vacant title against Cristian Gonzalez. How's Bam looking?
You know what? Bam is doing really good. He left to San Antonio, Texas today. I leave tomorrow. He's over there with my son. They had a few appearances they had to do, schools and stuff like that. So they went 2 days before me. I leave tomorrow. So they're taking care of business. He's already in shape. He had a great training camp. He knew this fight going down to 112 was going to, you know, get those extra 3 pounds. So he started with his diet a little bit sooner. So he doesn't have a problem losing the last few pounds. He left camp in great shape, not very heavy, just those last few pounds just to cut with water weight the last day before the weigh-in. So he's ready. He's in great. We train hard because he wants to be the first fighter from San Antonio, Texas, to ever win titles in 2 divisions.
Cristian, he's only had one defeat and is since on a back-to-back KO streak with very early finishes in his last few fights. Important to stop any momentum early in this fight, you feel, for Jesse?
Well, you know what? We're going to go in there. We're ready for 12 rounds because a fighter like Cristian Gonzalez is one of those, he's Mexican and Mexicans have a lot of heart. And a title opportunity, that's when they bring out their best. We've seen so many young fighters, that nobody knows who they are, and they bring them to the States to fight a star, and these guys prepare themselves. These guys have that heart. They just have that in their mind that they want to go and pull off the opposite. And we've seen it happen before. There's been a few times where fighters come from Mexico where nobody knows who they are, but they go out there and beat the champion, the fighter that a few years back HBO was high on. Kevin Kelly, perfect example. He was the star. He was the main guy, and then comes a guy from Mexico who nobody knew who he was, Gervonta Gonzalez, and beats him up so bad. So those are the fights that we get when we have a Mexican that nobody knows coming to the States to fight the star. So that's the way I want to see the fight, because I don't want to think it's easy. I want to think that that's what we're looking into, one of those big challenges. Cristian Gonzalez is hungry. Cristian Gonzalez wants to be champion. So we're prepared for the best Cristian Gonzalez.
It's a very exciting fight in prospect. And when it comes to Jesse Rodriguez, we're always talking about future fights and exciting fights, each one of them, that whoever the opponent is. Now, Eddie Hearn has just signed someone very interesting over these shores in Sonny Edwards, opening up for unifications to finally happen. You've made your point clear that you want to maybe for Bam to fight Estrada next, but Sonny Edwards, is that someone that's on your radar in the next few fights, or maybe the next one?
You know what? Before he announced that he now signed a deal with Matchroom, I thought it was going to be hard. I thought it was going to be a little bit difficult for Matchroom, for Sonny Edwards and his team to work something out. But now that he signed, that should be the next fight. If Jesse wins, obviously we can look past. But if everything goes well, I would love that to be the next fight. I know that I think it was today, Sonny Edwards posted something saying that his side is already agreed and he's ready to fight Bam, but they haven't started with us. I think Matchroom is probably waiting for Saturday after the fight to mention it to me. I know we read that he signed with Matchroom, which is a perfect plan, perfect fight to make, easy fight to make, but they haven't brought it up to me. So if they started working out a deal with Sonny Edwards to where he already agreed and he already, pretty much signed the deal because he already agreed to a fight against Bam. Well, I just want to let him know that after Jesse fights Saturday, and if we come out with a win, hopefully Matchroom tells me something, because they haven't mentioned it to me. They haven't negotiated anything with me. They haven't brought it up. So hopefully after our fight, and if we come out with a win, hopefully that's the first thing Eddie Hearn tells me, because I want to hear it. I don't want Sonny Edwards to think we're not saying anything because we don't want to fight him or we're scared of him. Or no, I'm telling you, Sonny, that the only reason why I can't say anything is just because maybe they already did a deal with him. Like he says his deal is final, but they haven't even brought it up to us. So I'm glad he already agreed to it, because right after the fight, hopefully they do approach me and tell me, that that's what they want, because that's what we want too.
Tell me, coach, what is your coach's report on Sonny? Obviously, world champion, very good technical fighter, has his style. But what challenges do you feel he poses to Jesse if the two ever to meet in the ring?
He's a great boxer, man. Great boxing skills. He's fast, and he moves very well. Now that Jesse came down to 112, I would say, this is going to be Jesse's first fight at 112 since becoming champion. So I could say Sonny is the best flyweight out there right now. I think he's much better than Ray Martinez also. So that's the biggest challenge for us. I know we could also take the fight with Martinez, because he's soon to fight, I think, a month after us, a month later after us. So it's a fight that we could also go after. But we rather get the challenge with Sonny Edwards, because I think that's a bigger challenge. It's a more difficult fight. It's a fighter with a lot of experience. He knows how to box. I've been watching his fights, and he's a really, really good boxer.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, before this Sonny Edwards Simon match, it was the talk of you wanted to see Rodriguez in with Estrada. So, if the two were on the table, you would go for Sonny Edwards over Estrada, or would you still want Estrada next?
Well, see, this is the only thing that would change our plans around. Is I know that Estrada, it was a Spanish interview, and he was talking about him wanting to fight Bam, and him thinking that Bam is not that special of a fighter, and he said that he would love to fight him. So I know that my bad. I know that Matchroom and himself with his promoters, they have planned some fighting in July or August. So I know that after April 8th, if everything goes well, Jesse could take 3 weeks off, 3 or 4 weeks off, and then get back to camp to fight July or August against Gallo. So if that's what Gallo wants, then I'll go after Gallo right away. But that doesn't mean I won't fight. We could be going back and forth. That's what I want with this kid. This kid could do both weights with no problem. It's only 3 pounds, so 3 pounds is not a big difference. I know that if Sonny Edwards has another fight scheduled in the summer, then we'll fight Gallo, and then end of the year we'll fight Sonny, or vice versa. We could fight Sonny first and then fight Gallo end of the year. I would prefer a Gallo fight, because here in the States, especially in Southern California or in Texas or Arizona, the Mexican community, it's huge when it comes to boxing fights. And Gallo already made a big name for himself in California, Texas, or Arizona. So either one of those states would be a beautiful place to host the fight between Gallo and Bam. With Sonny, I think here in the States, it would be big for us, but not as big as fighting Gallo. So with Sonny, I think the ideal thing is maybe going to the UK and fighting him over there, because he's a huge name in the UK. So that would probably generate more than bringing the fight to the States.
So you'd be willing to come to the UK to fight Sonny Edwards?
100%. We're about challenges. We love those challenges. My team doesn't hold back on, oh no, we can't do it, or the last canceling, not being able to negotiate, not finalize the deal, because we're talking about two weight class, or a dehydration clause, or just stuff. I don't know. We're not like that. We'll agree to the fights. We like those challenges. We're not gonna say no to a fight if we're not on the same terms of maybe $10, $15, $20,000 difference when it comes to the purse for the fighter. We're gonna agree to the fight. Maxim knows me. No, they already know that we want those fights, and we work very, very close with Maxim. They've been very good to us, so I know they would be fair with with the offer they make us, especially if we have to go to the UK, and we'll make it happen, definitely.
A few final things from me before I let you go. Look, a big fight coming up in Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Robert, I wanted to get your prediction on that fight.
You know what? It's gonna probably the biggest fight of the year to when it comes for the boxing fans, especially here in the States. Everybody's excited about the fight. Everybody's talking about the fight. Everybody wants everybody's opinion about the fight. And I would probably say that 70 to 80% of people here and boxing people in the States are picking Tank Davis because he's already a three division champion. He's already been in there in the championship fight and has never fought for the world title. But I think that Ryan has the power and the speed to catch Tank and hurt him. I I'm not predicting that that's what's going to happen because Tank is also very smart. But Ryan's those fighters that is waits for the right moment. It doesn't have to be early. It doesn't have to be. It could be in the last round. He's got so much power and so much speed that you got to be careful with those type of fighters that have that power and have the speed because you could be winning the whole fight, but all it takes is one punch. I think Ryan could hurt Tank if he catches him with a fast left hook. Uh, Tank also in his last few fights, he has shown that he starts very slow. Uh, Against Santa Cruz, I think a lot of boxing people had the fight pretty even. Some might have had Santa Cruz a little bit ahead on the scorecards. Uh, his last fight against Garcia was very close up until when he landed that hook and hurt him and stopped him. Made him quit in the corner. But up until then, the fight was very close. I I think that Ryan is more explosive with his speed and power. That he's got a great chance of landing that punch and hurting Tank. So
Yeah,
I pick Ryan Garcia.
fair. Putting your neck on the line there with a bold prediction, like you're saying, a lot of people going for Tank Garcia. Let me get Tank Davis. Let me get your thoughts on another fight: Canelo Alvarez versus John Ryder. Look, over here in the UK, we're saying this is John Ryder's opportunity and he deserves this shot. But maybe in the USA, people are thinking this is a bit of a mismatch. Where do you stand on it, Robert?
It is a great opportunity for somebody like Ryder. They fighters, especially fighting somebody like Canelo. Back in the days, fighting somebody like Chavez, like Astrid de la Hoya, is fighting them. Fighting somebody that big is, you pretty much you could. Some people think like you hit the jackpot. So already with your purse, it's probably already going to be the biggest purse of your career. So that should be a big plus for him. But the opportunity just to go out there and look good, just to go out there and maybe win some rounds, maybe go the distance, maybe make the fight a little bit closer than what people think. Because some people might think Canelo should just destroy this guy in a few rounds, and in his hometown, Guadalajara is going to be packed. Everybody's going to be excited. So that's what everybody's expecting. But if he goes out there and gives the world a good fight and shows that he is capable of hanging in there with one of the best fighters in the world, then that's already a win for him. Even if he doesn't get the decision, it already is a big win for him. Just being able to compete and hang in there with somebody like Canelo.
Final thing I wanted to ask you: there's been whispers of, I mean, it might not be happening now, but it seems to be in the mix. If you speak to Eddie Hearn, he says that Conor Benn might be taking on Manny Pacquiao in Abu Dhabi. Um, what do you think of that fight? Is that a fight that interests you?
That would be fun to watch. Manny Pacquiao has always been very fun to watch. Even going against him, it's fun to be in the opposite corner because you get to see his speed, his footwork, his power up and close. You know, that man, even though he's way past his prime, it's still he still has the name and that speed, that power to surprise anybody. I think it's a great fight. It's a fight that obviously will be a lot bigger in the UK than in the United States. But Manny, everybody loves Manny, so everybody's still gonna want to see him fight. You know, he's one of those fighters, one of those persons, human beings that everybody falls in love. So everybody's gonna wish him well and is gonna tune in to watch. Definitely one that would like to watch it.
Robert, we'll leave that there. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Looking forward to Bam Rodriguez in action this coming weekend. Thank you so much for picking the seconds out. We'll catch up very soon. So all the best.
Awesome. Thank you very much.